In Game 5 of Gen.G versus T1, Gen.G made an insane pick against Faker in the mid-game. But what if I told you this pick and many other key moments from the game originated with wards from Duro? In this video, we're going to look at two of the wards that Duro placed and analyze how they played a key role in the victory. As always, if you've been enjoying the videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or check out my Patreon. Let's get started on our first point. Okay, so we're going to start this one off by taking a look at where that pick that we just watched on screen originated from. So I'm just going to pause as Duro is placing the ward, which we're going to talk about in our first clip. So if you pay attention to the minimap, we can see that Duro has just placed a ward on this entrance. Now, why is this important? So we can see that Faker is up on this side of the map, and if we look at the minimap, we can see a large number of members from T1 sitting in that river, and then they've got their Jace, their solo laner in mid. So for T1 right now, they are attacking top lane by getting that top lane push. They're attacking the top lane river, and they're trying to hold that pressure on mid. And on top of that from T1, we've also just picked up a Rift Herald, which they'll want to try and use. So for T1, this sequence is all about really trying to set up some pressure to get a snowball off. Now, for Gen.G, they really want to try and defend this sequence, since Gen.G is scaling really well, right? They've got Ornn and Nocturne. If they can just get to 20 minutes, then they're going to win this game because no one on T1 can really absorb that engage, right? If you've got Vex coming on you, Nocturne, there's nobody really here to defend it later on into the game. Okay, so this ward, what does it do? Well, this ward is positioned in a place where it will spot anybody who's walking back to mid from T1. So for example, if Maokai and Lilia decide to walk back to mid to help Jace, then that means that Ornn could walk in and he could, kill that top wave, right? And conversely, as long as that ward is there, then Ruler can also still play a little bit aggressive as well if he's feeling confident in that matchup. So this ward is all about spotting members of T1 walking between top and mid in the transition. So how does that ward result in the pick? So if we play ahead, we'll see T1 commit members up on this top side of the map, and then Gen.G will just respond. They'll just defend, right? But now, once this wave is going to be cleared from Ornn, which we'll see in a second, Ornn's just going to kill this wave under tower, there's no threat on Ornn anymore, which means that the other members of T1 are now going to want to either reset or going to walk back towards mid, right? And this is where we'll see that from Lilia, where Lilia is going to spot herself on this ward. Maokai has actually gone back to base, although Gen.G doesn't know this. And also Ziggs is still sitting in that topside river as well, right? But crucially, Gen.G does know that Lilia is in the river. So usually what Gen.G members would do is they would do the same thing. They would match back towards mid, right? Or they would take a base and then run out mid again. But what Gen.G is doing is hoping that Lilia will show on that ward topside, and then if she does, then when Faker walks up to this, they're going to look to make that pick. Now, I know Maokai could be there, but actually I think if Maokai appeared during this play, I think he could potentially just become another victim of the whole play as well. So, playing ahead now, Lilia's been spotted by the members of Gen.G. Faker walks up to this wave, and crucially now Faker uses his E, and they go in. But also the execution on this from the members of Gen.G is absolutely exceptional as well. So the ward is what sets it up, but the play from Gen.G there was really excellent. Okay, that's the end of our first clip. Let's move on to our second ward. Alrighty, for the second ward that we are going to look at, we're going to see Duro walking in on this top side of the map. And he's going to place a ward just here, if you see on the minimap, on this entrance closest to mid. Okay, so why is this ward important? Now, firstly, it's important because if the members of T1, particularly the jungle and support from T1, Maokai and Lilia, decide to walk into topside river, then it'll give information on that, right? It also, this ward, will see if they are in the river, if they are going closest towards mid, or if they are going closest towards, the side lane, right? The top side of the map in this case. So this ward is really, really, really crucial and covers one of the most important junctures in the game. We can actually see that T1 has a similar situation on the bottom side of the map. And you have to clear this ward if you're in professional play. You have to get rid of it if you want to play on that side of the map. So we'll see Duro place that ward, and then he's immediately going to start channeling a base. Now, as Duro is walking out of base now, we can see on this minimap that Maokai and Lilia both haven't entered onto the top side of the map. Okay, so by process of elimination for Gen.G, they can now know that most likely T1 is going to enter out through the bottom side of the map, as they haven't seen anything there. So we'll see that Duro and the other members of Gen.G, if we look at the minimap, are going to deploy onto that second key entrance, and they're going to look to get control over both sides of mid. Okay, now they're here, and they're going to run into Carrier, and in a second they'll run into some of the other members of T1. So for Gen.G now, they can try and block this entrance as much as possible. Now, Gen.G is outnumbered still. We can see that Ruler's still coming out of base, and Chovy has only just TP'd in. So they'll give this space, but they'll make it as hard as possible for T1 to take the entrance. Now finally, all of the members of Gen.G are ready. T1's actually going to engage this, but the other members of Gen.G are here ready and available to fight. Now, this fight isn't going to be a big win or anything for Gen.G. I think at the end of the fight, we'll see this one goes 2 for 2. But I already mentioned earlier on in the video that for T1 in this game, they need to snowball, right? You know, they've just traded 2 for 2, top and jungle, for a jungle and support from Gen.G. But the Gen.G composition is scaling, right? Since it'll be really hard for anyone to tank that engage. So we can see how this ward on the top side of the map allowed for Gen.G to know which side of the map that T1 was going to play on, and then it allowed them to block that entrance and to take a fight defensively on this entrance of the map. We'll round this one out by taking a look at the last fight in the game, where you can see that now Gen.G is kind of scaled, no one can tank that combo, and the T1 members get pretty wrecked in this fight. And yeah, from here on out, it's going to be really difficult for T1 to win the game. Okay, so thanks as always for watching my videos. If you have any ideas for a video, then please feel free to leave it in the comment, and I'll do my best to make a video on the topic that you're interested in. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.